I'm Natalia Bonner. Happy Monday. Welcome back. Okay, I have a fun little sneak peek, kind of a snippet of a quilt to share with you today. This is a quilt that I did recently, custom machine quilt for my client Suzanne, and I had a lot of fun machine quilting this. Definitely is a Christmas quilt, but Christmas quilts are fun to see any time of the year, I think. I think you can always find a little bit of inspiration. So today I'm going to be showing just a little bit of the quilting that I did on this fun quilt. And then if you do want to see more, if you want to take a deeper dive into my machine quilting process with me, make sure you do check out my Patreon page. It's patreon.com/Natalia Bonner. Over on Patreon, I share a lot of behind the scenes looks. I take you, like I said, a deeper dive into my machine quilting where I'll start out with the quilt and show you what it looked like before I started and then walk you through most of my process machine quilting an entire quilt. And when you do join Patreon, you actually also get access to all of my back videos, which is a few years worth now. So it's a great source of lots and lots of quilting information. Definitely something over there for everybody. So before we get to the video though, I am using a few different colors of thread on this quilt top. So fine on the top and bottom line on my bobbin. The batting that I am using on this quilt was a batting that was provided by my client. So you'll see that there's not quite as much left as you are used to seeing, but it still turned out really awesome. So let's get stitching.
All right, here's a sneak peek at the quilt after I actually completed a little bit of the machine quilting. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today is that second block, the block on the right hand side. And I'm going to be stitching a little bit of the sashing and also a bit of that background filler along with outlining around the bird. This was such an adorable quilt to machine quilt. Like I did mention, if you do want to take a deeper dive with me into my machine quilting and into my process, make sure you do check out my Patreon page. It's patreon.com/Natalia Bonner. With this design, I am going to start out by stitching in the ditch. I love the look of stitch in the ditch, so you're going to see quite a bit of that really with all of my custom machine quilting. So I'm going to do a little bit of stitch in the ditch work. Now, I'm also kind of imagining or creating designs where maybe you wouldn't typically think that there are going to be designs. So this section that I'm quilting right here was maybe intended to look as part of the background filler. But when I looked at this quilt as a whole, I decided I really wanted to use those sections, these strips that are pieced on the sides of my blocks, as kind of an additional sashing or kind of a ribbon. By quilting it the way that I am here with those echo lines on the side and then these fun under swirl circles that I'm stitching out here, it really creates kind of that ribbony effect and adds so much to a really adorable quilt block. After I've stitched that first section, then I move on and I like to work on my background fillers. Now I love instant gratification, so when it comes to my machine quilting, most often I work one block at a time, one sashing at a time, one section, one unit, whatever you want to call it, at a time, so that I can work, like you can see here, I'll start on the side working with my background filler. I like to applique or outline around my applique. So I'll use my mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler, outline as far as I can, whatever stitching I can do, then I'll outline until the point where I'm going to have to overstitch or backtrack, something like that. When I get to that point, then I like to go right into the background filler. So I often am using my background fillers as a place to travel from one point to another. So I'll give you a little bit of time and let you watch some of my machine quilting. hope you are all able to find just a little bit of inspiration from today's machine quilting video. This was such a fun quilt for me to quilt out. This quilt was made by my client Suzanne, and she sent it to me for this custom machine quilting. Like I said, if you do want more inspiration, do check out my Patreon page, patreon.com/Natalia Bonner. Have a great day, everybody.